I call myself a minimalist, but the only way to prove it is to put everything I've ever owned into boxes and count how many of them there are. It turns out you don't always realize how much junk you can accumulate over the years. Ugh, this is gnarly stuff. My final count was 12 large boxes, 5 duffel bags, 3 suitcases, and 1 full car trunk. It's a lot of stuff, and I think I can do better. Today, I want to talk about all the mistakes I've made when it comes to cluttering and my new strategy for keeping my future clutter-free. The first mistake is picking up too many hobbies. Most people would agree that if you're just going to do something once, it's better to rent the equipment instead of owning it. But what about the case when you do something obsessively for a long period of time, and then you stop doing it altogether? When I worked at the office, I used to play ping pong every single day with my coworkers. We even bet money on the matches. $20 per game was down $300 at one point. Owning a high quality paddle isn't just a luxury. It's basically a business expense. Then a few years later, I changed jobs. The work culture was different, less gambling addicts, and it's been almost 8 years since I've used these paddles. I moved 5 times during those years, and this unused object just kept coming along for the ride. There's always this what if. What if I find another group of people who likes to play ping pong every day and put money on the table? Even though it's already been 8 years and these people have not shown up. So many of my hobbies are dependent on a specific friend or a group of friends. And when the friends move on or I move on, the equipment stays. This tennis racket belonged to the summer of 2017. These pickleball paddles dominated my Saturdays for 8 consecutive weeks earlier this year. I really want to become better at disowning unused equipment, but it's hard. So a new strategy I'm gonna try and adopt is to frame these unused objects as a long-term rental. I paid money to use them for a few weeks or maybe a few months or maybe a few years, but ultimately I will donate them back to the community. The story about ping pong really highlights one of my most toxic traits. I obsess over becoming better at things. I want to be the guy who can just casually strum out a sing-along song on the campfire. But has anyone tried to learn this thing? I can barely remember the basic chords. I feel like I'm so far away from getting to the level that I want to be at that it's just discouraging to even pick this up to begin with. Friends come over to the house, they would see this guitar and they would ask me, "Do you play?" And I would be like, "No." It's embarrassing, really. Some of the things I own are just living reminders of the disconnect between my dream self and my actual self. These things are really hard to let go of. It's not the same as ping pong. I don't think I would actually care if I never get to play another day of ping pong for the rest of my life. But I do want to learn guitar before I die. The hurdle I have to conquer is to let go of my expectations. It's not realistic to think I'll become good at anything in 1 hour, or 10 hours, or even 100 hours. But if that's what I want to do, the only way to do it is to take it 1 hour at a time. The slogan I want to live by is, what doesn't get scheduled doesn't get done. And I am allowed to keep objects around if I block off a calendared time to use it. The next thing I learned is that I have way too much coffee and tea, and my fiance has twice the amount. There's no way we can drink it all because we tend to gravitate towards 1 or 2 particular choices. Like, it's always some form of green tea for me. The rest of the collection just slowly becomes less fresh over time. At some point, we might even have to throw some stuff out. So the strategy to get out of this bind is to share more often. We need to host more tea parties and dinner parties, and I also think it just make the experience more memorable in general. We can retell the stories behind how we acquire some of this stuff, and I can nerd out about the Chinese traditions that I have to relearn. But most importantly, our guests can help us work through this stuff a little faster so we have more space for new and fresher additions. Over 33% of the things I own are kitchen items, and when you combine that with my fiance, all we have is a giant pot of shame because neither of us cook regularly. My excuse is that I don't like cooking for myself. It's a lot of work with nobody to appreciate it. But now that we're moved in together, I have no more excuses. So we made a pact. We need to start using our stuff. And if there's anything in the kitchen that we haven't used in over a year, we're gonna donate it. I don't like giving up my kitchen stuff. Just look at this shiny espresso machine, or this big beautiful red food processor that I can't reach, or this earth-shattering Vitamix. But I have to keep my word. So I'm gonna use all these things at least once over the next month and document it on video so we can justify keeping them around for 1 more year. Today, I'm gonna make some Chinese fried rice with sausage. But before I turn this into a cooking channel, we need to talk about the other 66% of our clutter. Memorabilia. When I first got into minimalism, I actually put away most of my souvenirs because they don't exactly spark joy. It's usually some form of cheap plastic made in China, and they remind me of the loss of my youth. You can never recreate the feeling of visiting Belgium for the first time. And all I have left from that memory is this statuette of a peeing boy. It's really kind of sad. But if there's one thing I learned about sadness over the years, it's that you can't escape from it. Putting away or getting rid of your memorabilia is a form of escape. You're just going to be sad all over again if they somehow pop back up. The only way to come to terms with sadness is to accept it, to display it, to look it in the eye. This is a medal from the only time I ran Bay to Breakers, which is this 7-mile run in San Francisco. It doesn't really mean anything to me. I'm not a runner. I just did it. There is a memory attached to it, so I kept this. Because at the end of the day, an object is just an object. It's your interpretation of it that matters. I choose to remember the good parts. This is Kwachi, one of the official mascots for the 2010 Winter Olympics in Vancouver. I don't really think about Canada very much anymore on a day-to-day basis. And I don't really follow ice hockey anymore. Never really did, but I will always proudly remember that Canada is better than USA, and we earn those gold medals. Decluttering is a very freeing way to size up your entire life and reflect on all the choices you've ever made. The past is already written and you can't remake those choices, but you can decide, but you can make different choices as you move forward into the future. Hopefully you can relate to this video if you've recently, and now I'm actually really curious. What is the breakdown of the stuff you own when you moved? Did you also have over 33% kitchen junk, or are we just super weird? Let me know down in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. EDC, friendship bracelets. The interaction lasted less than 5 minutes. Out we go. Out we go. Friendship bracelets. Oh, this is a gift from my friend in the Dominican Republic. I do like that friend. I'll keep this. I got this in London. Keep.